Navigating the storm of Facebook and Instagram advertising can be super overwhelming. But what if there was a way to illuminate this path to success? But there's a way we can make this process 10 times easier. Hey, I'm Sam Polero, and in today's video, I'm gonna cut through all the fluff. I'm gonna show you the exact strategy you need to make your Facebook ads successful. Where others falter, you will thrive because structure matters. With the right structure, navigating Facebook ads is really straightforward. By the end of this video, we're gonna show you our exact campaign setup to maximize your conversion value. Okay, so first and foremost, we need to set up our campaign structure. This is the most important thing here. This is going to be the baseline for everything that we do. So in the actual ads manager, what we're going to do is click our big green create button, and we are going to use the sales objective. This is just gonna let Facebook guide us to make sure we are actually driving for conversions, we are potentially setting up for catalog sales, whatever it may be. We don't really wanna drive awareness, we don't wanna drive traffic, engagement, leads, or app promotion here. We are really just focused on conversions, bringing revenue to your site. So we're gonna use the sales objective, and we are gonna click continue. And then once we're here, we're gonna totally ignore the ad set and the ad level. Things are gonna get a little bit more complex at the end of this video, but right now we just wanna focus on what are the core components of the campaign structure. So at the first campaign, what we're gonna do is basically set up 3 tiers of campaigns. The first is going to be prospecting. The second is going to be retargeting, and I will explain all of these. The third is going to be retention. And the fourth is going to be a broad prospecting campaign. Let's start first with our prospecting campaign. So we're just gonna simply name this prospecting. Very, very straightforward. And we are gonna duplicate this. The easiest way to duplicate things in Facebook is to just click this little button here and click quick duplicate. Great. Next, we're gonna name this retargeting. We're gonna do the same thing where we're gonna duplicate it again. And then we are gonna set up our retention campaign. We're gonna save our broad prospecting campaign for the end of this video because it is so straightforward, but there's some tweaks and settings that we're gonna do to it that are gonna make it just a little bit better. So first, on the prospecting side, the way to think about prospecting is anyone who has never heard of your brand. It doesn't matter what you're selling, they have never been to your Instagram, they have never seen or been to your site before, they've never liked a photo, whatever it may be, they've never heard of you. They are net new to your business from an awareness perspective and from a conversion perspective. So what's really important on the prospecting side, and we're gonna drill down to the ad set level now, this is where we're defining our audiences. At the ad set level, what we wanna do is set up unique interests per ad set. This is really going to define who your audience is at tons of levels. Now, here's the secret. Facebook is telling everyone, just go broad, target everyone, maybe potentially target anyone who likes sports if you're selling in the sports goods industry. That's too broad. Everyone likes sports. What we need to do is be very specific about who we're targeting, and this is just gonna get us 10 or 15% better results, but that is literally the difference between a successful campaign and just being like all your competition. Okay, so we're gonna drill down to the ad set level. This is where we're defining our audience. In this case, we're just gonna use an example of a beauty brand, maybe a skincare product. So what we're gonna do is scroll all the way down to detailed targeting. Now, I mentioned this before, it's so important for us to define exact audiences that we're using and not just go broad. Everyone's going broad, we need to be very specific about who we're targeting. So here's how we do it. In the detailed targeting, we're gonna just pretend here that we are maybe a makeup brand or a skincare brand, and we're just gonna type in one single interest that we think relates to our brand. In this case, I'm just gonna type in Ulta. Ulta, as many know, is just a beauty retailer, and they have a pretty big audience. In this case, you can see right here, they have an audience between 24 million and 28 million people. That's ideal size. Okay, so once we select that, that is literally the only thing we are gonna do to this detailed targeting. Now, you may really be inclined here to start selecting different details. You might wanna add Sephora, MAC Cosmetics, skincare. All that's gonna do is muddy your results. We wanna be individual per ad set. Every single ad set needs to have one individual interest. Okay, So once we select that interest, I think it's really important to set our name at the ad set level. And how we're gonna do that is very straightforward. We are gonna say interest underscore Alta. I always like to define that we're using an interest in the first section of the ad set name, and then second, the actual interest that we're using. So interest underscore Alta. Now, here's the secret for prospecting. We are gonna duplicate this exact audience, and we are going to scroll down in this newly duplicated campaign. I know this is a little complex if you haven't done this before, but this is the difference between just selecting random interests that you think are smart versus actually using Facebook's algorithm to really determine what's gonna work best for you. So once we have Alta selected, as you can see here, we go to suggestions and we are clicking the next available suggestion. In this case, it is Sephora, and we are going to remove Alta. So as you can see, we have one single interest again in this ad set. Now, here's the overview of the prospecting strategy. We need to basically have 4 to 5 interests set up at a time, all with the same amount of pretty low budget. So what we would normally do here is create, like I said, 4 or 5 interests. In this example, I'm just gonna do 2 because it gets repetitive. We're gonna rename this interest because we just got this one to Sephora, and you would basically just do this again, 4 or 5 times. Cool. The next thing we're gonna focus on here is our retargeting strategy. So retargeting basically means, for us, how we define it is anyone who's visited your site, they have liked a photo on Instagram, maybe they're in your email list, they know of you in some way, shape, or form. It's really important we have clear swim lanes between prospecting, retargeting, and retention, because it's actually going to define how much budget we spend on these people, how aggressive we bid, how often we want to show up in front of them. For example, if someone has just purchased from you 2 days ago, you don't really want to show them ads. It's an awkward, it's a janky customer experience. What we really want to do is show ads to the people who are most likely to convert as much as possible, right? Because if people are most likely to convert, it's worth it to spend those ad dollars on them to just get them over that hump to actually make a purchase. So back to retargeting. We're using the same settings as prospecting and retention, which are gonna be, as I have here, our sales campaign objective. Okay, so at the retargeting level, we are going to scroll all the way down. Now, the difference here is we are not going to be using detailed targeting. Detailed targeting is just for prospecting. This is where we define our audiences. This is where Facebook's data becomes available to us. On the retargeting side, we're doing the opposite. We're using your data, your website data, your pixel data, your conversions API data. I know a lot of this is a lot, and we're gonna go through that in different videos. However, in this case, all we have to do here is click Custom Audiences and click Create New. Now, bear in mind, this is a dummy account, so I don't actually have the data here to show, but here's exactly what you need to do. Click on Your Sources, Website, then go down to Next, and right here there will be your pixel. You just want to select your pixel or your conversions API, and first things first in retargeting, we are going to set up a 30-day visitor audience. So all you're gonna have to do here is set up this all website visitors, retention 30 days. You'll then name the audience and click create. So we're just gonna name this visitors 30 and click create audience. Now we're gonna make a completely different video that covers everything in terms of audiences. Every single audience you need to have for retargeting, every retention audience, even prospecting audiences that we're seeing right now work the best. So you can click right here, or right here, wherever the video is, and that will show you the exact audience setup that we use. In this case, I'm just gonna keep it simple because the structure is really more about the campaign setup, which is what we're drilling into here. So we've hit our retargeting. We now have our visitors 30 ad set, which I'm going to properly label. We always wanna have our labels all set up and pretty. Then we're gonna move to the retention side. Retention means that they have transacted with you. The customer, the person has sent you money. There's no exception on that. They have had to transact with you in some way, shape, or form. So this is so important because the difference here is that you already have this customer's information. You possibly have their email. They have proven that they're willing to transact with you. This is such a major difference between someone who's just been to your site and showed that they might transact with you and actually transacted with you. So here's what we do on the retention side. We use the same campaign structure, sales here, and we are going to select Advantage Campaign Budget. This is really important. Formally, you may have heard this is known as CBO in Facebook, which means Campaign Budget Optimization. We're gonna select this. All this does for us that's different is we are setting our budget at the campaign level. So we're just using, again, a dummy account. So we're just gonna say we're spending $200 a day in retention. When we drill down to the ad set level here, this is where it becomes even more important to have those proper swim lanes, right? We need to make sure retention is totally separate from prospecting and retargeting. So here's how we do that. We drill all the way back down to the custom audiences again, and we need to have exclusions and inclusions this time. So first, we will create our first custom audience. We will again use the website source, just like we did for retargeting. And we're gonna go to events. Now, I've mentioned multiple times, this is the dummy account. You will have here all the events that your pixel is capturing. What I recommend is you use your purchase conversion event here. Once you have that purchase conversion event, you really wanna max it out, a 180-day time span. So you'll have your 180-day purchase event, and I'm just gonna name it as if it is purchase _ 180 days. We'll then create this audience and it will be set up. So this campaign is now targeting all purchasers over the last 180 days. But as I mentioned, what we don't want to do is target someone who just purchased 2 days ago. They may have not even received your product yet. We don't want to have a really awkward kind of advertising experience for them. So we go ahead and create a new audience. Cool, so we do the same thing, back to website, click next. And what we're gonna do here is say, click your event that says purchase, and we are gonna have a 7-day purchase window. Anyone that's purchased in the last 7 days, we don't wanna target with ads. So we will say, again, purchased 7 days, and then I like to put here 4 exclusions, because we're generally not gonna target this audience, we just wanna have this excluded from everywhere. Cool, so we click create audience, done, and it will automatically populate. This is just Facebook trying to get us a little bit. It will automatically populate in the custom audiences section. We wanna click this little tiny drop-down window here and click exclude this audience. This is really, really, really important because this is the difference between targeting those 7-day purchasers, which we don't want to do, and making sure we don't target them at all. Now there's one more setting here, and Facebook again is trying to get us to spend a little bit more money than we should. So here's what we do. This Advantage Custom Audience Plus, this thing that looks great. Facebook has the big check mark next to it. It's something you naturally want to click and check because it basically says it will improve your performance. The thing is, we are creating swim lanes. We are creating very clear segmentation for all of our advertising and all of our targeting. We need to uncheck this. This is extremely important. Do not forget to do this and check all of your ad sets. Really, Facebook is making sure they can do this as much as possible. We want to check all of our ad sets to make sure this right here, Custom Audience Advantage Plus, is not selected at any time. Okay, so let's go back to square one and talk about exactly how this setup works, why it's so important. So we have our prospecting campaign. This is everyone that's net new to your business. We have our retargeting campaign. These are people that have interacted with your business, your Instagram page, your TikTok page, whatever it may be. Then we have our retention campaign, people who have given you money in one way, shape, or form. All 3 of these pillars separated on their own. This is the difference between just giving all the power and control to the Meta or Facebook ads platform versus you actually having control of where you spend your money and how much you spend it per audience cohort. I definitely don't need to explain the value of that because as any business owner, you definitely understand speaking to each customer differently is critically important to the success of your business. Okay, The next step here, which is really a deep dive, is the actual audiences that we use for prospecting, retargeting, and retention. I gave some teasers throughout this video, but if you want to see the exact interests that we're using in a few of our categories for a few of our clients, if you also want to see the exact segmentation we are using in retargeting, whether that's site visitors, how we integrate with different SMS and email platforms, and then on the retention side, how exactly and what the breakouts are of how we are talking to our existing customer base, that is going to be in this video right here. It is, or maybe this video right here. And if you got any value out of this video, if you think this video is going to make your business more money, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. Thanks.